this is the place. Now inside our campus, there are companies like Laris Labs, Sai Life Sciences, Adama Private Limited, and most of the companies are there. So we offer infrastructure, incubation, and advisory. So our teams work with the startups at the same time grants management, at the same time working with the big companies. My role is to deal with the startups, academic innovators, and individual innovators. Basically, we won't work like a legal firm. My advice will be: is it required specifically for a startup? So that is what today I wanted to give you some of the details from that. So these are the some of the companies which are in the IKP nodes for Genome Valley. And some are very big companies, international companies, and some companies are resident companies. At the same time, there is an incubation space where we offer space for the pharma related or medtech related companies. We have one more office at IKP Bangalore office, IKP Eden. It is in Koramangala. So that is mostly for the medtech. So any of the startups in this category, anyone needs any kind of advisory or space or unit for the manufacturing, the kind of related things you can approach anytime IKP Hotspot. And it is not a company, it is a non-profit organization. So anytime if you approach through website also, people will respond to you without asking money. So these are some of our buildings in the Genome Valley, the Innovation Corridor and the Sustainability Innovation Center and Garden of Life. These are the some of the companies. If I tell you these people might be started one member, two member companies with back maybe from past 10 years, but today these people, these companies are in the market. They are doing production at the same time they are into international market also. These are the some of the examples which came from IKP Hotspot support. So relevant to the IP, here I would like to give you example of startups problems first. So many of the times when a startup or the MSME comes to us, especially outside like one company, they have very good technology related to agri. But the problem is that they didn't find IP. They took a trademark, but when they wanted to expand to the global market, and actually that product also global relevant product. Now they do not plan any IP strategy. It is a four-member company they are going to hire. The problem is that when you are dealing with some kind of product, 3 or 4 products in your portfolio, how you are going to protect your IP from your employees, own employees who are joining and who may be leaving, and partners at the manufacturers. So these are the issues sometimes when at the planning stage, at the prototype stage, may not be thought by the inventor. So some of the aspects, the first one is IP is important for me. So maybe in the yesterday session, you might have heard about the types of IP. Majorly MSMEs use trademark and patent. But patent have only 20 years of lifetime. If somebody files a patent only 20 years, they will have another thing. But why to file it? That is the question. And second, trademark. We want brand and so immediately people will take a trademark for the product at the same time company. This will be followed by all the MSME companies. But the IP matter, when it comes to IP, identification of the requirement and novelty actually missed by most of the companies. They are experts in their own field, but the requirement of this legally and technically to their team is missed. And IP and trademark. Is this will give me any investment by the people or investors? It depends. I can see one madam saying no, but maybe possibly madam it will give investment. It depends on the technology. The company name what that Goshen said, Apurmita, that is a one pharma company. It's a startup company, but they have very good technology, international potential. So these kind of aspects, and they find lots of patents also. So this kind of examples, when it comes, patent is an asset. You need to think that patent is an asset. It is not waste of efforts or money. If you convert or if you monetize that, definitely it will be useful to you. And what exactly will investors want to see? The investor want to see that in the patent, the novelty and the technology is protected. it is protected legally. Do I need cost-effective expert advice? Definitely, you need a cost-effective expert advice or free of cost advice. Then you can spend your funds. So, free of cost advice here, like MSME IT scheme or high-tech scheme, some of the schemes offered by the government, also most of the people do not know. People who are in touch with MSME, they are aware of it. One of the questions some startups they ask me, is it really good to approach them? Is it will be reimbursed immediately? So they didn't approach. They think that it will not be reimbursed immediately. But if government is giving 5 lakhs rupees to file a patent in India and abroad to cover one country, it is a worth it. Nobody will not spend money on invention, but government is spending to some schemes, which is really required to taken up by the startup. So that kind of advisory is important. And invention as it is currently practiced is good enough. The four assumptions restricting invention. Most of the startups, if the MSME company is an entrepreneurship kind of thing, they may take some product, go through distribution and get into market. There, most of the aspects may not match with that. But if you want to, as an entrepreneur, if you want to take a medtech or any kind of agri product to your portfolio from an inventor, then you need to know about this. Then we need to see whether I can take any product from a individual inventor because he do not have the distribution capacity. He could not find the market. So here the gap is that most of the inventors in the market are research institutions, academic institutions, or the companies. The inventor is an expert who might have 15 to 30 years of experience. No doubt about that. But the problem comes when they wanted to get into market. They could not find the connecting bridge to market. There we need people who are into market actually with some products. We find that. As part of my job, I do technology scouting at the same time industry scouting. Because sometimes it will be like I may be receiving one technology, but they are not finding any partners to get into market. There are many technologies that of that kind in agri domain related to biofertilizers and medtech and even pharma or any kind of machinery related, even women health related. We see lots of technology because I am in the zone where I am dealing with technologies daily. And innovation is excessively for executives. These four assumptions, actually most of the MSMEs who deal with industry and market will think in that way. They may think we are not innovative, but it may not be correct. Because as a market expert, you might have your own observations where the technology can be improved with some effect. Right? So when a distributor thinks that this can be done, this can be improved, this can be taken into market with the help of inventor, then definitely it is possible. So the culture of thinking itself for a company that is important. And innovation is exclusively for executives. No, innovation is not like people who are only in the research institutions. Even nowadays, we are seeing people who are in the engineering fourth year, third year, they are coming with blockchain technologies, some kind of method technologies, ECG kind of technologies. We are seeing that kind of technologies even below 25 years old people. So how we will identify and promote, how we can integrate those kind of people. Innovation planning is an oxymoron. It is not very big thing. For fourth one, innovation planning is an big oxymoron. If somebody identifies a need, somebody identifies market, they try to innovate it or they will search for it. We see some of the company people, they know that the problem is existing, the need is there. They try to find a innovator of that kind of technology. How they do? They go to university incubation centers and they try to meet the academic innovators or the researchers or through Google, they go through publishing papers. So the failure diagnostic matrix, innovation management failures. So this may be for the companies with the people, with two-member team to bigger number of the people also. Somebody might have some thought in the company, but how it is promoted, how it is transferred someone else to someone else. Legos, the per kids, what it is used, the Legos packets in the market at the company, the Denmark-based company, they are into market with the creativity. And sometimes even Barbie, when we see the Barbie doll itself, from many years it is a arty kind of thing for the kids. Everybody will ask for Barbie. maybe kid girls, right? But the creativity may come from anyone. Is there any Indonesian version to that Barbie? May not be. So that kind of thought process, the creativity may come from anyone who wanted to make it. So there comes the experimentation, whether it is actually worth it or not. When it comes to technology, so one of the technologies, maybe here some people might know it. The people who are blind use a stick, but now there is a technology people can use a kind of thing like this. So now the technology available, which is very less cost effective amount, and the company is providing that devices to many of the CSR companies in many states, and we approach internationally also. Device is not much popular, but it is cost effective and people are buying it through CSR activities. We may not imagine, but that invention is from a person who is below 25 years old. He is doing a great business. And idea management failures generally process collaboration, communication, and bias. Collaborations. This is what we may need to see as an important aspect. Because what we need is a product or invention or is some collaborator. Recently, I met a team who are into agri business. The person is a scientist. One person is four members. One person is a scientist. One person is having customs and export experience. One person is having complete documentation, policy, business experience. One person is investor. The team is very good, very experienced team. We see many of the enthusiastic people after retirement or mid-job level, they leave job and get into market. They ask us, is there any technology readily available to get into market? So now the question is that invention and innovation for everybody, if that makes money, that is important. Simple. So we see all kind of people from 25 years old to retired people who are in discussion with different technologies. That timing, sometimes that delayed filing allowing competitors to win the market. Some of the technologies from the academic institutions and research institutions, they are ahead of the present market. Some technologies, they come up with a request to file a patent. We file a patent, but there will not be any immediate takers because there might be some very good competitive technologies or the technology is not find that need now. So how many of you are from life sciences background or medtech or electronics? Sir, I think I met you previous occasions, right? Nice to meet you again. So if I get to know your kind of company, it may be easy for me to say about that. At the same time, if you have any questions from the previous sessions, if I can answer, I definitely do. You can ask me questions now, then I can explain in my presentation. Anybody have any questions, please raise your hands and you can ask. So, sir, please.
Hello. Nice to meet you. I think you know that I am from Hyderabad. So it's
Yeah. Nice.
my question is in the commercialization aspect of what we are doing now. Currently, we are developing a diagnostic kit which is related to finding the antimicrobial resistant bacteria through a CRISPR technology. But in India and any other way, the CRISPR is already a patented one. But it's hard to implement that component. That component, how can we adopt for our system?
So from outside.
From outside, because it's already patented, that enzyme technology. So, in order to make that as a commercial product, so that is the bottleneck. How can we come across that position? Because I know that the CRISPR business is one more company the same as like Impact Labs. They are doing that, developing some products in that area. So that's the question.
Sure. So in my presentation, I will cover that aspect, but I won't get into deep details because may not be familiar with the technology. After presentation, we can discuss deeply. But here I will explain your question.
Okay,
Thank you. So any other questions? So continuing my presentation. So innovation and invention, I think you might got the difference in the first day of your presentation or maybe the first half today. So I just wanted to repeat that invention is a novel thing what you create. Innovation is what you develop to get into market, any kind of method of it. So the invention and innovation, we use it for any purpose, but we should not confuse when we go in deep because the patent filing always requires invention and novelty. Okay? So strategy, direction, and planning execution. So most of the institutions or the companies, how they find novelty, how they become creative in terms of the things, how they can add more products to the portfolio, how they take it into market. That is all together through a process. And one of the ISO certificate is not implemented all over the world, but in progress is ISO 56000 that actually deals with innovation management. How a company, when they say that they are innovative and creative, ISO 56000, it is a series. Now, some of the European companies are implementing that, and this is not a new thing. Organizations which are very old. Suppose if we see any 100-year-old university, we don't say that unless they take this kind of certification, they are innovative. The practices are there, but that uniformity, standardized vocabulary, standardized process defines that kind of certification. So some of the aspects from this are taken from there, and sustaining innovation requires ROI. And one of the problem, the ROI, return of investments. Most of the startups, the practical problem is that IP filing is important, but the IP filing is linked with my business or not. That is very much important. And when it is required, suppose if I take domain difference, pharma, if they need to take regulatory approval and they find a patent today, they are getting regulatory approval and scaling up capacity after 10 years, which means that they lost 10 years of IP time in the patent itself. So they could not able to get into market. And the second problem, what we frequently hear from the companies, they could not able to identify the business benefits and requirements of IP filing in abroad. How you choose the countries which you wanted to file a patent? Is it linked? This thought process at the initial stage of the patent is linked with the business strategy or not? Because one example, one company they had filed multiple patents at the initial stages because they wanted to protect their invention. Very good product. They filed patents. They filed patents in multiple number of countries. So now the problem became bigger after 1 year when they need to file international patent applications to follow up. So it became very heavy. Sometimes the unexpected cost or the unplanned cost may be goes up to 5 lakhs, minimum 1 lakh at the initial stage. The number of the countries which are unplanned may go up to 50 lakhs to 1 crore. We saw this as a real problem. We heard from some of the companies. By the time your IP is mature to get into market, if you didn't get investments, then that creates a problem to us. And here the intellectual property canvas, if we see the freedom to operate, specifically I wanted to specify that if we have a patent, can I proceed with my device or the product in market? So one case is that you had filed a patent in Mexico. Now you think that your product can be sold in Mexico because you have a patent. That may not be completely true. You had protected your invention in Mexico, but you delayed estimate that somebody from Mexico or Mexican company will sue you for a infringement case because some of the aspects may be matching with that. That freedom to operate, that is a search report. Once you have a patent, some legal firms or the companies offer that kind of search report, whether this patent can be sold in the another market or not. Do you have any threat to your patent from any other company? And Government of India, some of the funds from Ministry of Science and Technology, when they are funding 1 crore, they are asking for these products. Example, some technology might be related to maybe poultry or maybe related to any other domain. When they are asking for the scaling of funds, 1 crore, the government asked, can you submit this report to us, freedom to operate report? So they have submitted. So that have certain limitations, when to do it, why to do it, in which countries. And one of the company, they approached us asking for this report for 7 countries. Then we asked why you are spending money on it. They didn't file a patent. They told us they wanted to see that whether they can spend money on the patents in those countries or not. At the same time, to find the investors also. They know that if there are some existing technology, patents, they will not get any investors in those countries. So the planning may differ from inventor to inventor or company to company. But if you are aware of this kind of things, that will be definitely useful. You can approach an expert. And strategy. Whenever we discuss with startups, companies, the strategy, there is one website, WIPO, some of you might know, World Intellectual Property Organization. If you go through that 10-point scale, 10-point scale criteria is there. In that, if you go through that, on those 10 line basis, you can see what is the novelty levels, what are the possibilities and things. It is like out of 10, how many marks you are giving to each aspect, right? And third party rights. Third party rights relate to freedom to operate. At the same time, some of the companies when they approach us, the chip or something out of our device, they might be importing somewhere. So the due diligence is very much important. This will be important when we are filing a patent. At the same time, when we are taking a technology from someone. Like in the earlier, I said that if you take any technology and include in your portfolio, that may be a benefit. But without due diligence, it may not be possible. Because the third IP rights, somebody coming with an invention and saying that this can be sold definitely in the market and I can give you 100 devices. This can be scaled up and get into market. But if we don't do due diligence, what is the IP rights? Who are the contributors? Who are the parties? Then it will be a difficult thing. And finance, through MSME scheme or any government schemes, and even for the academic institutions, government is facilitating lots of discount in the IP filing. But sometimes the real problem, people who are not associated with the institutions, is the professional charges by the legal firms. But some schemes are very good from the government because they are including the reports, commercialization, liability, patent filing in India and abroad. So these finances are important because when government says 80% reduction they are giving in IP filing, it hardly maybe 5,000 rupees. So we file 5 patents, 6 patents. Government is providing money to file a patent, but the rest of the process, rest of the stages also you need to see money where you will get. Whether the money is given to only for filing or examination process until the grant. The filing process and ending with grant may take 1.5 year or 1 year. So you need to track it from the government sources or through any other facilitators. In one of the projects I came in Ashpa, that was World from World Bank. We had facilitated for some startups up to 2.5 lakhs in that. Even IP filings in India and IP filings abroad also. Sometimes some of the institutions may have that kind of funds, any government institutions and state government schemes. In Maharashtra, I think they are providing 5 lakh rupees for the companies, but the requirement might be only for the companies who are registered there. So some of the states are having this kind of resolutions also. So in your radar, there should be academic incubators, research incubators, and institutions like THUB and MSME institutions, any kind of institutions who are dealing with innovation. They might be a good source. Most of the times, when you approach them, they will give you free of cost advice. If you ask the same things from a legal firm to discuss, to initiate the discussion, they will say 50% of the money you need to pay me before that. Right? So auditing and mapping IT assets. The step one, when a company thinks, any company, because smaller teams might have 2 people up to 3 people who are into R&D, and rest of the teams might be in the scaling up and maybe in the product selling, right? But IT auditing itself is a task. If some of the things are not identified at the early stage, very early stage, then automatically it will be very difficult when you get into market for the selling process. Yesterday, one of the product I came through, the product is licensed from a research institution only. So the product is very good, food product, but the packaging is somewhat related to MTR brand. So these kind of aspects, when I discussed with them, they told that it may be a good branding, but they didn't think that when they get into market, there might be any infringement case from MTR. There is a possibility. There are chances like that. But the person whom I spoke is a business person. He understood it. But most of the times, business people may miss that point. What will be the problems associated with that? And establish creation date and method. What are the processes you are capturing in notebooks? And who is the owner? I think in some of my slides I mentioned, but determine exact ownership. Most of the companies they will hire employees. They will hire employees, but what kind of agreement we have is important. One company, as an example, so the people are from the engineering background, they are working on a device, but they want a neurosurgeon in their team to work on it. And one of the company, they are into nutritious products, but they want a person who is a doctor with nutrition expert. And one company, they are related to gyno women health, but they want some hospital to be associated with that, some expert from gyno hospital. So these are regular things. Whenever we discuss with the startups, these are the general problems. It is not very much new. How you are building the relation with an agreement in employment related or the consultancy related. How you are defining your novelty rates in that. That comes the third point. Determine exact ownership and creator. If somebody joins your team and builds something, whether you will give IP rights or not is a task. That is the task you may need to think. And I think maybe in yesterday's session you come across applicant and inventor. I'm not stressing much, but for the companies, applicant, if applicant is a company, that will be good because that is in the company's property. If the inventor is an applicant, then that may be creating a problem later. You are an inventor, at the same time you want to associate with the company, so what will be the process? There can be process. That is what we call technology transfer or licensing. What kind of collaboration should be built between these two people? So protection guidelines for new projects. Some of the CRO companies, when they wanted to take up a task, how we design that collaboration and what should be the IP aspects, how they need to protect those things in company. That is one of the important aspects what we discuss with our companies. One company asked me, the biofertilizer related company. So some company from Delhi approached them to design something and to give it back. At the same time, they need to supply if that get successful. But the research team, the company one, they do not know that they can complete the task or not. So what kind of agreement should be there? If it is successful, what should be the IP rights? what should be the IP rights should be shared between these two people, right? This collaboration details itself, you need to think step by step and make it as a standardized process in your company. And registration strategy and periodic review. People who are having patents, there will be renewal process every year. You can pay it in advance also, but there will be renewal. And patent filing, if you think that patent is filed, somebody will take care of it, means it is not, it is absolute no. Whenever you file a patent, you need to track yourself when the date for the publication, examination, and any queries from the patent office, at the same time renewal process, if there is any problem with the patent, who will deal with this? These are the things you need to check. And one problem what we hear from the startups is that the patent is filed, but they do not know what happened to that. 8 months are over, and the patent agent who filed it is not available, not answering the calls, right? But if you are approaching through institutions kind of MSME or any institutions, there may be a person who's dealing with that. So in market, if you say that somebody is filing patent for 5,000 rupees also, and somebody is charging 25,000 and 20,000. So it depends on the quality at the same time follow up. Some people they ask us, we completely explain the process. Finally, the inventor can opt any person, any institution, but you need to know that how they are filing. And you always remember that when you approach an institution, you discuss not only the filing, you discuss the complete process and filing process at the same time, reimbursement process, what are the reimbursements they are giving, and how you will work with it further for the scaling up and market. They can able to advise you definitely. So this is global boundaries. So global filing strategy. We have a process which is called PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty. Under that, it is like an umbrella. If you file one application, you can go to another 143 countries. Some people say that technology related to EV. Okay, so battery technology. They know that in Europe they have a huge market. They know that in USA they have a huge market. But for a startup, smaller company, it is very impossible to file a patent application in 10 countries. So here, when we see that global filing strategy, so this is the process what we follow. The core company market map competitors, locate primary manufacturing base, protect important trade routes. This is the process what we follow in short. These are the four I need to observe and select what they can do, right? And this is linked to investment also. Patent is an asset because very simple patents with a good technology can give you maybe 1 crore immediately. We saw some technologies where related to diagnostic kits. So the company, manufacturing company wanted to spend at least 1 crore. So here also whenever there is kind of this situation, licensing or technology transfer, so you need to approach any expert what kind of collaboration is possible. So we see that what is the type of agreement they are getting into IP license, what is the geography, time and scope. So we have some real examples always for any case. One company which are of course in agree at the same time maintain two different companies. They were approached by people from Brazil. The technology is related to mosquito killing, one technology. The Brazil company, when they approached the Indian company, they were very happy. They are thinking that from abroad they got a company who wanted to collaborate. But when we assessed that, it may be a predator company. They wanted to take your technology, they wanted to market it, but you do not know finally how much you will get. Because they may say that the scaling up or the selling may fail. They could not do that, so they can't pay any cost for that. So this assessment you can do in those four prospects. Any of the company for the IP license, financial and resource operations. This is very much important always. Any kind of project which is related to novelty and patent filing, plan your expenses early. At the same time, bridge it with some of the grants or some of the government schemes where you can utilize that. And other than the IP revenue budget for the human resource allocation, so that portion, the second portion, stage one, stage two, stage three, to identify the innovation and novelty in a company, whether this had been taken care by the company. That's the process I mentioned there. So here there are two things, human capital and giant IP. If company A and company B is working on one technology is developed, but if it get into market, need to get into market, it need to be developed for that. Suppose a technology which is related to EV, they identified the product, but they do not know how to interpret or use it to a vehicle. They need an expert advice, maybe an IIT or a private company. So in that kind of companies, the giant IP comes. At the same time, in the human resource, most of the companies miss the novelty IP rights portion in the employment agreement. Somebody works in a project, there may be an employment agreement, but when you are doing IP filing, if there is anything more required, because one important aspect in the patent grant is that when you apply for a patent, pre-grant opposition, post-grant opposition, there are two things. When the application is in process, every Friday, like a movie, our patent office releases one notebook, one book, patent journal. In that, all the patents in progress will be given small paragraph. That is what we call publication. Even if you see our IP office website, last Friday might be released, trademarks at the center patents will be there. If somebody finds, suppose there is a patent without my name where I contributed, with this publication, I can apply to patent office pre-grant opposition. Post-grant opposition comes even after 1 year of your patent grant. So, in the employment, if the employee is not in your company, he left that company, but there are chances before and after he can approach patent office to your patent application. So what should be the strategy? This is the overall strategy which I mentioned. The cost mapping, what is at the last? That is the approximate cost we are seeing with the IP applications. And why the cost is very high? Why maybe people may ask sometimes, even the inventor also. See, in India, when we file an application, that is only for the India. It is only geographic location. It is like a passport. It is only for India. When we are going to US or any other country, there we need a person from that country, the patent agent or the patent attorney. That legal field. There also the professional cost is very high. For every event, they will charge lots of amount. So whenever you are going to international market, you may need to be aware of the funds available is supporting that category or not. I think IPFC is supporting at least the amount is up to that. So at least one country is possible. So what should be the SOP for the overall points? For any company, maybe a smaller company, what we see is that the organizational design, a smaller company can become an MNC. That is the possibility what we see. A two-member company, four-member company is definitely growing bigger. Looking at that, first, formulate a comprehensive business linked IP strategy and IP inventory. What can be the IP inventory? If I am thinking about my biofitness and business, simply say, right? What kind of technologies I need to acquire to improve my business is an important task. And some of the technologies like EV. So any kind of these technologies may have a life cycle. If I am going with single product, one problem associated with startups is that they might have only one product. They may have spent 5 years, 10 years for the specific product. But the technology life cycle matters. If the technology demand, need, and life cycle, if you think that in the next 5 years the technology will not be useful to anyone, then with single technology it is a risk. So at the same time, improving the portfolio may be a useful thing. And keep rigorous records and registered IP early. So the third point, so the recent software Anthropic, right? That company, I think Anthropic, that software, when they released that, one of the company from the Karnataka, they said that they had already registered it, the name in 2021 itself. The company is in USA who released, but that is a trademark related case. So early registering IP is always important. Allocate specific resources to build, conduct regular scheduled IP audits. So review continually internal IP complaints. If you have only one patent or two patents, this may not be very strictly imposed, but you need to be aware of the aspects. So how you know that your strategy is success? The quality IP is one of the important parameters, and the amount of the revenue we generate from that is an important aspect. And revenue generation, R&D support, partnerships. If some companies have a patent, three things are definitely possible: R&D support, partnerships, revenue, and market advantage. These four definitely possible. So these are the takeaways for the topic. Uh, Most of the topics I had gone through the entire program, yesterday and today program. Most of the topics are covered. So I try to find the gap where nobody might not have the knowledge. So I cover those kind of aspects from the practical problems what we hear from the startups. And one of the question what from Think Hat Labs, my friend asked. So if you have some technology, you know that it is a need and it is the component of the overall kit, but there might be some patent filed in the same box for one of the component. How we will take it? So definitely we need to have a due diligence on the specific aspect. It is simply a electronic device with an imported chip. There can be an option. If we approach the company, there can be a licensing opportunity and the collaboration opportunity. That is one. Otherwise, we need to see alternative product. Or we need to find the gap. If the product is having a patent, why can't I file a patent? Because my product is similar. But is there any kind of gap between that patent and my invention, the novelty itself? Right? So that may help. And one of the aspect is the patent. When the patent is granted, only the claims portion of the patent will be under judicial scrutiny. It may be 20 page, 30 page document, but the claims portion at the end of the patent, right? Even if you have two claims in that portion, that also might be granted. Patent office sometimes they will say out of the 10 points, 9 do not have any novelty. With single line also they will single claim, they will grant a patent. But other than that single point, if you miss something which is not included that, I can file some other patent with that gap. So when you are filing a patent, we suggest always to our inventors, narrow range and broad. Are you keeping it very broad? Somebody is coming into that and finding gaps and doing some other patent. If it is too narrow, you might be missing some things. So you always need to find what will be the best draft case of a patent. So any questions? So I took much time. So if any queries, you can ask me. So innovation management, I attended Copenhagen Business School. There, this practice is there. I learned about that in Denmark, Copenhagen Business School. Then in the discussions with the starters, most of the times we see from that perspective. At the same time, one more good experience what I had here is that some business students from Copenhagen Business School, some students came, they came and worked with some of the startups for a month, companies. The aspects what we see as an inventor, as a startup, from the business point of view, we may be missing. So an expert in an invention or a company development may not be an expert in some other aspects. So there might be some gaps. You always try to find an expert from the ecosystem who can give you most advice freely. If there are associate costs, then that will be better. Instead of approaching private legal firms, that will be the best. Thank you. So that is my email ID and phone number. Feel free to discuss anything anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, like to say you.
Yeah, yeah. So number you can note down 9015664767. 9015664767. You drop me a message, I reply with the email ID. So I will be here for the next half an hour. If you have any specific queries, you can ask. Clap. Yes, sir. Presentations will be shared with you later. If the presentation is shared with you, you can access it.
अरे आपके स्क्रीन प्रेजेंटेशन आ So now we have a presentation with, on MSME schemes regulations in English. Our session will start in another 5 minutes.
So, yeah, so Dr. Vital Kumar has finished his session, and I hope the solicitation is done already. And I got engaged in some other activity as it is financial year closing, so we are very busy. But thank you all for being patient. So we'll conclude with, I'll give you a gist of MSME schemes. What are the schemes directly by Ministry of MSME and where you can apply? So some of you already know, who are connected to us, they are aware of it. And a few things have changed, even if you are aware, will get updated. So this is our main portal. It is my.msme.gov.in. That is the URL. If you go over there, then you see these icons. So first is Udyam registration. Udyam registration is the MSME certificate. If you click on this, it will redirect you to the original portal, which is udyamregistration.gov.in. There you can register as an MSME. Even if you have not started and you plan to start, you can still file it. Earlier, you have to have commenced your business operation and then you will be able to file. But now, even if you are planning to start, you can file this. Your Aadhaar number will be verified, PAN number will be verified. It is completely online process and on self-declaration basis. And once you file it and you submit it, you have completed all the fields successfully, then you will be assigned an Udyam number, starting with TS, if your official address is in Telangana. So that will be your Udyam number, and immediately you can go to the home page and you can take a printout of the certificate. So that is the Udyam registration certificate. And to be able to avail any scheme which is meant for MSME from our department or even from state government department or Ministry of Food, Textile, any other department, see schemes for MSME, you need to have this certificate. They will ask you this. Even loans meant for MSME, they will ask you this certificate. Now even traders can file this certificate. They have to select major activity as services, not trading. So that is there. I'll show you afterwards on the portal how it is. Then the second is MSME dashboard. Those are statistics. You will see the statistics of MSME, how many MSMEs are there, what are the scheme statistics, how many PME loan is given, how many Mudra loan is given, that will be provided. Idea incubation. So we invite proposals if anybody has idea. MSME, non-MSME, student, faculty, independent innovator, researcher if they have idea and they want funding, incubation support, then you apply to the incubation scheme. So you will be redirected to the incubation portal, and hackathon, if it is open, you will be able to apply. You have to check your eligibility, you can apply, you can select if you are from Telangana, then if you have to select one of the 68 empaneled HIs, host institutions. So like MSME-National Institute for MSME is there, and most of the engineering colleges are there, CBIT, and Indian Institute of Aeronautical Research, and JNTU. So the list is available over there. You can apply. Recently, the hackathon 5.0 concluded. The ideas are being processed, and you get it if it is approved, selected. You get a funding of 15 lakh. This is a grant. And then you have Samadhan portal. This is if you are an MSME and your payments have been delayed against the work order you have executed, the receivables is being delayed. Then you can file Samadhan. It will redirect you to the online dispute resolution portal. So over there you can verify your Udyam registration number. You can file a case, online case filing against the respondent, against your buyer, and you have to upload the work order and then invoices. So after 15 days, automatic intimation to government, a notice will be served to your client, and then the process will start, reconciliation process. So for that additional thing, if you want the process to start, then you have to pay 1,000 rupees, and plus there is a form which you have to fill and submit at the empaneled MSc facilitation centers, which are at District Industry Center, DIC, under Telangana Industries Department. So there you can follow, and then reconciliation, mediation, arbitration process will be there. Then we have MSME Sambandh portal. So Sambandh portal is specifically related to public procurement. For example, central public sector enterprises like HAL, DHL, NTPC, these people have huge procurement. They procure thousands of crores. Even our organization, being a central government department, we also have certain conditions. So the condition is there is a public procurement policy that was passed in 2012 and then amended. So the current policy is all central government ministries, departments under them, they have to mandatorily procure 25% of their annual goods and services from micro and small enterprises. And then there are a list of 358 items which are reserved for MSCs only. Those items if we need, we have to procure from MSCs only. Those who are having their registration, micro and small only, no medium. So the data of CPSU procurement you will be getting on this portal, MSME Sambandh, sambandh.msme.gov.in. Once you click on it, so their annual procurement, the data, list of items which they procure generally, the projections of 5 years that you will get. CPSU wise listing will be there. Then CLCSS, SCLCS, this scheme is on hold. It's a subsidy scheme when you are upgrading machinery or purchasing new machinery. Then it is only currently available for LCSS, that is SCST category. You get 25% subsidy for purchasing new machinery. So you have to apply with the bank. Banks are empaneled and they have a login ID on the portal, and they will process the application. There is a form they will issue to you. So 11 banks, central public sector banks, like SBI, Canara Bank, Punjab National Bank, UBI, these are empaneled under this, including SIDBI and NABARD. So if you are applying to a private bank, then the private bank has to apply on your behalf to those empaneled banks. Then we have a cluster development program. It is not for individual MSME. It is for a cluster, like industry associate people who are there. So if a cluster of industry is there, for example, National Industrial Estate, JD Metla Industrial Estate, so they can apply. So it is basically the funding is project of up to 30 crore. Financial funding will be provided by Government of India. There is some component support by state government also, including land provided by state government. So there are two components in that. One is common facilities center. So one industry association in a particular industry state, they want to establish a common facility center, purchase maybe a treatment plant, which costs crores of rupees. So individual MSME cannot afford it. So as a cluster, they will afford it, and it will be utilized by all the member industry in that cluster. And also it also funds infrastructure development projects for new industrial estate as well as existing industrial estate. So that funding is up to 10 crore. So like roads, common infrastructure, solar panel, boundary walls, these are covered in the common infrastructure. So these two CFC and ID projects are comes under and PMS. This is very important scheme which you can apply under and avail that. So it is called as procurement and marketing scheme. In that, if you want to promote your products, get new markets, so the conversion strategy is you participate in trade fairs, which is relevant to your products, and you meet other businesses over there, B2B, especially for B2B businesses. So you can participate in those trade fairs. The list of trade fairs across India, which are reputed, is available on this website. If you go into this PMS website, there will be view events. You can see the list of events, who to contact, and you can apply for this upfront before the event starts, and you can book a stall, and we will reimburse. We'll process your application. It is approved, and we will reimburse the stall charges, the registration fee, and a contingency charge of 25,000, which includes your travel and accommodation or any materials you transported for that, publicity material you printed. So that is reimbursed for that. A lot of people apply under this scheme. This is a lot of people. And then obviously IPR is there. So this program is funded under the IPR scheme. IPR scheme, as I already told you, reimbursement are providing for registered granted IPs. You file, you have obtained registration, then we will reimburse your expenditure up to a ceiling. We have Indian patent 1 lakh, trademark 10,000, and foreign patent up to 5 lakh. And then we have also embedded IP facility centers. So starting from the application process, they will support you. So whatever the IP authority charges are there, they will be funded by us through the embedded IP facilitation centers, which are 6 in Telangana state. Starting with National Institute for MSME-DEVELOPment at Yusufpura, ICRISAT at Pakacheri, International Crop Research for Arid and Semi-Arid Tropic. Then we have Osmania University of Chemical Technology at Kohli campus, and then a few private institutions are there, which is MLRIT at Dundigal, and then Vasudevi College of Engineering at Warangal, and one more college is there. MLRIT, yeah, MLRIT and Vasudevi and Guru Nanak Institute of Technical Campus. So, Hyderabad, this is there. Thank you. Okay, and we have 2 technology transfer facilitation centers, TTFCs. So they have been embedded recently, one at IIT Hyderabad, and the other one is Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. Dr. Consultation already told you about that, so I will not repeat that. And then I'll skip the Spurti another part. We also have an MSME testing center. So your product is testing, you can approach them. They have certain facilities, not all testing, so it will be government tested. It is located at Sanat Nagar, next to the Toyota showroom. And then IC scheme is there, which again individually you cannot apply. This is for international trade fairs. So we reimburse the cost of your travel to that foreign country where exhibition or conference is there. But you have to apply through industry association or like NSIC, zonal head was here through NSIC or Export Promotion Council. You can apply, and they will shortlist, and a minimum of 10 delegations MSME members are there, then it can be approved. So, and then we have champions portal. If you require any information or you have any grievance, against banks or any player in the ecosystem, we have onboarded nodal officers from different ministries, banks, state governments. So you can put over there. And even Udyam related issue, anything is there, you can put over there. And MSME data bank, this other thing, Z scheme is there, zero defect and zero effect. So that is an MSME sustainable certification scheme implemented by Quality Council of India. So a scheme by Ministry of MSME. So it is for manufacturers. Now I think service is also introduced in that. So you can find the bronze certificate free of cost. You can visit z.msme.gov.in and you have to register with your Udyam number. You will generate a Z user ID and password. You can go to the Play Store or app. What is it? Apple Store, iStore, iOS, App Store. App Store is for life. Yeah, I don't use Apple. So Play Store and App Store, you can download Z space MSME you put, and app by QCI will be there because there will be a lot of other apps also. Z space MSME by QCI. Download that app You have the user ID password already with you. You have to go to your unit and you have to do the application at your unit by giving the different permissions of your phone to the app. So the application is done with photographs of your starting with your name board, exterior of the building to inside, and then your application is complete. And a random assessor will get your application. He will assess if everything is fine. You will get a bronze certification, which is free of cost to apply. And then with the bronze certificate, you get certain perks like your loan. Different banks offer different. You will get a discounted rate with Udyam registration under MSME loan, but you get further discount on the interest rate using Z certificate. And then any product certification, quality certification you take, you get reimbursement up to 50,000. This reimbursement you only have to apply on the portal, upload everything, and there is no physical form submission. So that is there. And if you plan to upgrade from bronze to the next level, silver level, then you can get hand-holding support. So over here now, consultant will come, industry consultant, who is expert, and he will visit your industry. He will see, identify gaps where improvement can be done. He will recommend you up to 10 technologies which you can purchase and improve your efficiency. So if you purchase any one of that, we provide a reimbursement of 3 lakh. Maximum 3 lakh, 100% reimbursement up to 3 lakh. So know what is the cost of machinery. So if it is 2 lakh, for example, that machinery, for example, somebody purchased a pouch making machine which was recommended, it was of 2 lakh, so only 2 lakh is involved. So that is the benefit of that, and there are few other benefits. If you go to the portal, log into your account, show me the incentives, show incentives, so it will show you over there. So that portal is there, CGT MSE, it is a credit direct fund trust established for micro and small enterprises. So you are not directly involved in the process. Once you apply loan to the bank will, if you are not providing full collateral, then bank will apply on your behalf to CGT. But first your business proposal should be viable, and bank is confident in sanctioning loan, then they will apply the collateral under CGT. There will be an insurance fee, annual guarantee fee, which will be back charged to you along with your interest rate, whatever you have negotiated with the bank. And Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program is their PMEGP. So it is for starters. If you plan to start a business, then you can get a loan of up to 50 lakh with a subsidy of up to 35%. The portal is KVIC online.gov.in. Application form is online. So first the basic form is there. You can select to financing bank also which you want your proposal to go to. Once you complete that proposal, then you get a login ID password in PMEGP portal. I'll show you that. You can log in, and then you have to complete to upload certain documents, which will evaluate your proposal. And afterwards, you'll be called for an interview, and if it is approved in the interview, then it goes to the bank, and the loan is sanctioned. And there is subsidy associated with that 35%. So these are the main schemes which you can apply. These schemes are directly from Ministry of MSME. Plus, there are state government schemes like Telangana Industries Department. This scheme started in 2014. That is Key ID and Key Pride. It's quite popular now. So they provide several incentives, capital investment subsidy, and subsidy on electricity charges, then GST reimbursement, and then there is Pavlavati also comes under that, in which they reimburse up to 9% of your interest rate, and there is no cap on that. So that is where most industries avail the benefit. So for example, you are taking a loan of up to 10 crore, and your interest rate is 5 crore in that, which you have to pay. So and the bank is charging you 10%. So 90% of 5 crore will be reimbursed. So that how much 4.5 crore will be reimbursed. Basically interest free loan. So because there is no cap, whereas capital investment subsidy there is a cap of maximum 30 lakhs. So that is applied through ipass.telangana.gov.in. In the same portal, it's also a single window clearance system. So if you want to start an industry, you have to register over there, because most of the clearances you have to take from state government. And also they will come for inspection, starting with trade license. A lot of people, even they open a shop, they don't need trade license. Suddenly tax investor inspector will visit and he will see the no trade license, he will charge penalty. So that you have to apply through MSME and pay the fee, yearly fee. So that is TS iPass portal. Before starting, you have to apply for consent for establishment CFP through your account. Once it is approved, then you have to apply for CFO consent for operation. And then product related certifications are there. Some are mandatory which you have to apply. Like food related product, you have to have minimum FSCI registration, and depending upon your turnover, you have to go for the state license or central license. And other BIS related standards are there. So some are mandatory which you need to apply for before launching your product in the market. So these are the overview of the schemes. Any specific question related to SME scheme, then you are interested in any scheme, you can ask. So you want me to show the portal, PMHP scheme, anything if you want me to show, I'll show over there. Yes, yes.
Startup scheme is not a big.
Yeah, because it is not implemented by our ministry. There is a Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. In fact, IPR is the patent office comes under DPI, their subject, but it is relevant to MSME. That is why we had this IPR scheme. So there is a separate portal, startup.india.gov.in. So you can register as a startup. There are a few conditions for startup. First of all, it should be incorporated entity. So MSME, even if you are a proprietor individual, you can file MSME certificate. But for startup, you need to be incorporated firm, like registration with Ministry of Corporate Affairs, either private limited company, LLP, OPC. So then second condition is your turnover should not exceed 100 crores in any year of operation. And third condition, which is the main criteria to get the DPIT certification, startup certification, just like with their registration, which is that you should be into innovative offering. So as per the website, it says that you should have innovative products or services, or you should have a scalable business model. The scalable in the sense of wealth creation or employment generation. So in the startup application, once you register and you have a login ID password, you apply for startup. The basic details they'll ask: incorporation certificate, your team member, you have a website, you can put over there, and you just justify, how you fall into that category. So yes.
Banks are not supported related to multiple of persons asking the property documents.
Yeah. See the
Lot of
yes. So collateral will be asked by the bank, because they are responsible for the loan they are giving, and you have to make the bank confident that you have the capability, especially for new businesses. You want to start, you want to take loan for a new business. You should banker who is approving it, they should be you have the capability to ground the unit. That is the main criteria. Project viability they can check, but truly project viability can never be ascertained, because so they will be in their comfort zone. Conventional projects, they will be sponsoring. They will see your experience. If they are confident that you have the capability to ground, only you are facing the finance, they will finance you. But with startup companies, banks will be mostly hesitant, because the startup is like high risk, high reward. And most of the banks don't do equity investment. So they are not sharing your profit, they will not share your risk. So that is there. But that is why we have CGT scheme. So for the conventional businesses, for which the market validation is done. So we know if you are going to make non-woven bags or disposable crockery, it is going to sell. So the market validation, it's a new offering. We don't know, first we have to get market validation. So banks will not go in. Typically software companies, because the problem with software company, the primary asset is not strong. So then they rely on collateral, because the software companies, computers, PC system, they get obsolete faster, high depreciation. So if the primary security like plant and machinery is high, the collateral requirement, secondary security is less. So they will always finance businesses which have core plant and machinery. And if you, in that case, if you small collateral is required, maybe 50% of the project cost, that they can consider under CGTMS. So that banker will avail. But the convincing part to the banker, that you have the capability to ground the unit, and there are multiple banks available to you. So you can approach different, apply like 5, 6 banks, and maybe one of the banks which is also want to finance that project, which have a target, they will give you a response. Yes.
One more problem is in the GEM portal, when we have our software to get it, approved, they don't approve it, soon, and for fall of feather, they just reject it. We have been rejected twice. Though our product is running with other customers, the people in GEM, they are not approving it. So what do we do for that?
Yes. So I will also tell you about GEM portal, which I did. That is Government E-Marketplace, GEM, Government E-Marketplace. So it was launched in 2016. So prior to that, we had DGSSD department. So now, as per general financial rules, which applies to central government offices, we have to mandatorily procure 100% from through GEM portal. So it is like e-commerce website for government buyers, Amazon and Flipkart for us. So we first see the product service available in GEM or not. If not available in GEM, then we can procure outside. We can close the tender outside on eprocure.gov.in, which is CPTP portal. Yes. So you as a service provider, MSME, or even traders, they can register and sell on GEM as a product, or you can sell products or services. So you have to register. GEM will charge 0.5% of the transaction value, 0.5. Are you aware how much Amazon and Flipkart charges? Or they'll charge around 25% plus 5% GST, or depending upon the product. So that is there. And if you want to sell in, if you have a product, B2C product, you want to sell to retail store, the charges. So as per my knowledge, what I have is they will not take any percentage share, but upfront they will charge, because their shelf is there. You take, for example, DMart, that is limited. So once that is assigned to you, it will be assigned all through all the DMarts. So they charge DMart. This is what people have told me, startup founders, who are around 50 lakh initially, to buy the shelf space.
15 to 30%.
If they charge 15 to 30% of the sale. Okay, I am not aware of that. So that is what some of the people, they wanted, they have spoken to DMart. Some of the people are connected, they are selling on Zepto also, one of the quick commerce. Zepto is charging them 55%. I think it will be different.
25,000.
25,000 deposit. Okay. 41.
No.
Initial.
25,000
deposit. But that is, they charge, 25,000 deposit only. Okay. So they charge 55%, for that particular company which is located in Sultanpur. I think Instamites, that is their brand name. Kadappal Agrotech, so they were able to, tie up with them. Yes. Okay. 25,000 is okay, but what is the margin?
15 to 30%.
Okay, 15 to 30%. So still it's good, but 55% means it is will be very difficult.
Dependable on demand.
Okay. Yeah. So they control the marketplace. So that is there. So that is why exhibition and other thing, you have to have a strategy, how you sell. Like what I know of is Amazon and Flipkart, these are only for marketing. So I would advise, do not expect profit by selling through this platform initially. It's only to promote.
Amazon, Flipkart, 45 to 50%.
45 to 50%. So yeah. So like that, and you can also sell on a lot of food products on there. Swiggy and Zomato, they charge 25% plus GST. So 5% because it's that is it. And yes, any other?
startup registration, then still we have to do the registration.
MSME also ಉದ್ಯೋಗ is it must for ITI? See, any scheme of MSME from Ministry of MSME or from any other department, Telangana Industries Department like TIDI, TPRI, all of these schemes, you have to have their registration. Plus, they will also verify because it is self-declaration document. So they will verify that. Like for example, TPRI is there. That is for SC/ST entrepreneurs with 50% shareholding. If it's a partner or multiple directors, their reimbursement is 45% maximum reimbursement, irrespective of which industry. Even you can buy a JCB, you get cars, yellow plate taxis. You know, you would have seen supported under the TPRI scheme of for SC/ST entrepreneurs by the Telangana Industries Department. That is 45% subsidy. 10 lakh car, you get 4.5 lakh subsidy. So that is for SC/ST. There is no this limit of which industry. You can hotel also, you can start anything. But for TPRI scheme, for other category entrepreneurs, there is limit. So the hotel industry, transport, these all are not covered. So other industries, which are core industries, they are supported. You need to have their registration. They will set up a team. They will visit your unit. They will verify that you are actually MSc or not, and then you will get to. For each scheme, MSc said you can submit your registration, but they will verify it. They will also verify because it's certain that you have selected SC option. Your registration will be of SC category, but they will ask your caste certificate and they will verify it.
Sir, one more doubt. This under PMEGP scheme, that is maximum loan is permitted up to 50 lakhs.
Yeah, for manufacturing.
For manufacturing, is it applicable for startup or which kind of entities it is?
New business loan.
Any new business.
Any new business. You could have a different business, you know, but you want to start a new business, you can apply.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yes.
After that, we can proceed for startup loan, etc.
Yeah, but if you avail PMEGP scheme because it's a subsidy scheme,
Yeah.
you get if you are general category entrepreneur and you want to start in Hyderabad, you get 15% subsidy. You want to start in rural area, then you get 25% subsidy. For example, 10 lakh loan, you will get 2.5 lakh subsidy in that. And that will come to your loan account. And after 3 years, it will be balanced with your EMI. The EMI will be there. Your EMI will be proportionally reduced. And if you are special category there, for example, women, SC/ST, OBC, ex-serviceman, minority, so then you get additional 10% subsidy. So if you are starting in rural area with special category, then you get 35% subsidy. So only one member in the family can avail it. If you have applied, your wife will not be eligible. Like that, you know, or your son will not be eligible, will not be. So.
We have a company that's already working, but we want to now grow to a new service, introduce a new service.
It's a startup, okay? We have to introduce a new service. For that, we want investment. So for that, can we go for PMEGP?
No. Therefore, you have to have a new company.
Okay.
But yeah, there is PMEGP which was launched 3 years ago. Second, if you are availed loan under PMEGP already, or Mudra, no loans. Okay. So if you have availed for 3 and you have paid it for 3 years at least, then you are eligible to apply for second PMEGP loan, which is up to 1 crore with 15% subsidy. But the eligibility is you should have availed loan and repaid it for 3 years, either PMEGP or Mudra loan.
Okay. And Mudra loan, to what extent can we get?
10 lakh first time, and there is no working capital, there is no collateral sought in Mudra loan, and 20 lakh for the second time.
So in under PMEGP, you can avail the loan twice. Once 50 lakhs,
Yes,
and the second
yes.
is 1 crore.
Yeah.
Second, that means equivalent of 1.5 crore.
But that is you have to repay it, and then The second loan will be 1 lakh, 1 crore, 1 crore.
If it's up to 1.5 crore, we can avail.
Yes, total. In total, but each application, first application will be up to 50 lakhs, second application will be 1 crore with 15% subsidy.
And coming to this city
Yeah.
and out of city, the regional, sorry, not regional, the ring road is considered the
Urban area. Population of less than 20,000, I think, is which has Gram Panchayat. You require certificate from Gram Panchayat. Have to upload that during the application. That this is a rural area. So main objective, like the name is Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. You are creating employment opportunities and solving this problem of government migration of manpower to Hyderabad area, and you are providing employment opportunities over there. That is the objective of PMA. That is the additional subsidy for rural area. Additional. Okay, so I think here, yes.
Like what is the utility rate of the schemes by the MSMEs, the people who are paid?
Yeah, you can see the dashboard. MSME dashboard figure is there.
Like because if most of the people doesn't know. Like
No,
what
no,
is the scheme
yeah.
is?
Once you go to the statistics, you will see it is highly successful. But if you try to see, like, there are a lot of people who have availed PMGT. In fact, when the plastic ban was initially thought of, there in Sangareddy, I visited over there because the district is allotted to me for MSME promotion. So around 100 units, when initially non-movement bags were required, availed loan under PMAGT scheme, and they all got loan, and some of them have applied for second loan also. So there are a lot of people to PMAGT dashboard, you will see the number of people who have applied. That is why it is being continued since earlier it was PMRY. Then the name was changed and certain things were changed, and this PMAGT, it is still continuing because it is a scheme which is giving indirect return to government of India in terms of employment generation and also economic benefit. So that is why the same scheme with subsidy is still continuing.
How can you address the gap between the persons who are made, like the people
Yeah,
who
that is
don't know
why
exactly
that is
what the
question.
schemes are they eligible?
Yeah.
If you are here, you
Yeah.
know all the schemes, right?
Yeah, that is why you are
to all this, but many of them don't know.
MSME OS is OS is there.
OS.
MSME OS is there, and other consultants are there, because we don't have the capacity, to be honest, to reach out to individual MSMEs. In Telangana, we have 17.5 lakh registered MSMEs and many more unregistered MSMEs. We are only one office, so we rely on industries department. Further, they fall short. That is why the chain ecosystem is important. Consultants, other websites who are promoting the scheme, as long as they are reasonable in their charges and offer right services, we support them. Like IP firms, who are charging, and MSMEs also will return to them. It's not one time. Businesses and through word of mouth they get commission. So if you are reasonably charging and you provide authentic services, it's not like patent, for example, you file it. Somebody will file it, any IP attorney will file it. But when it comes to defending the patent, if its claims are not drafted properly, you will not be able to defend. Trademark. See, yesterday my slate was here. They have taken it. My slate, once it gets popular, it gets used. Will it be able to defend my slate or a slate product? No, it will not be able to defend. So if you go to the right IP attorney, he will provide you. You do not use slate for a slate because that slate you cannot have monopoly over the work. Other people will also be allowed to use slate. It will not be your property. When you are registering intellectual property rights, it is your right, sole property. The others should not be able to use it. Like you cannot manufacture mobile phones and put Apple or pineapple on them. So even not use.
Question is, Mr. Bhushan.
Yeah.
In Z, which enterprise categories are can be registered?
Manufacturers currently services also will be included.
But I'm getting error in this.
Yeah.
So
What is that?
currently, this scheme is not applicable for the selected plan activity.
Which website you have selected? Could you pass on the mobile?
Government.in.
Yeah. services is not applicable. It is not applicable. We can actually show to the people, how to do it, so they will also be aware. So like I said, only only for manufacturer currently they can apply. So she applied immediately. She saw, she went to the website and she applied and verified her Udyam registration. Sorry, Udyam was a previous reject. Now it is Udyam registration. So since the COVID 2020, June it was notified through a gazette notification. Udyam registration will be verified and you would have some services mentioned under Udyam registration. So she selected that, so services not. If she had manufacturing, then she would be able to generate the user ID password and proceed with the application.
Now he wants to add to the goods also. On the same India number,
100%. So you have, once you file user registration, you have an account created on the website. You can log into your account, you can update everything except your PAN number and your official state and district. You can update everything. And newly joined, my colleague is there, Akshay. He is supporting. Initially, when we joined, we used to do it. Now, with the support of the newly recruited staff, they are filing, and they can guide you in filing if you approach. But it's not possible for it to sit and file for everyone, but definitely they can guide and troubleshoot the problem. And recently, now the registration portal is undergoing through some overhaul, so you will not be able to update now, but after that, and it will be shown on the website that is come for maintenance. You can update it, everything, bank account, everything. Yes.
No, actually see one Udyam registration when it is lot of queries have been coming from regarding Udyam registration. If you have any query regarding that one, you can go to champions.gov.in, register dealings, so that you will get the reply within 48 hours. So once you register the grievance, you will get see so many like name changes there, mobile number changes there. You are not able to change this. You can get a registered grievance and send back, and office will give the reply to the grievance and it will be solved.
Any questions from the yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you will be audible anyways. Yes.
So, as a startup, we are developing some product, the diagnostic kit development area.
Diagnostic kit for what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, AMR, so antimicrobial resistance, bacterial identification through CRISPR technology.
Will it require clinical trials and laboratory?
Not clinical trials, but we need to validate in the clinical samples as well.
Okay.
In the hospitals, like
you require FDA, Indian CDSC approval for that?
No, not required. It's not required actually. So it is simply a diagnostic kit, molecular diagnostic kit. So just like a real-time PCR, what we have initially started the COVID diagnostic kit kind of thing. So I mean, this is the parallel thing we have started 1 year, and now we are developing one product. But eventually we having a facility. We need a facility required for the manufacturing. So in that
CCMP, have you approached CCMP for manufacturing? I don't know. CCMP is next to IICT, I think, right?
Yes. I know CCMP.
You have to, you have to approach over there and see what are the facilities.
I'm asking about are we developing, not they're depending on their.
No, see better. Have you, your requirements, you have researched how much funding would be required for that?
I mean, that part is different. What I'm asking is, once we have developed our product, we need to manufacture that.
Yeah, for manufacturing facility. Yeah,
that's the area I'm looking for.
Contract manufacturing, or you want to set up your
We
own?
want to set up our own.
So have you, researched how much funding would be required? So first you have to do that, whether it's practical possible or not. Because in the business, you have to be asset light nowadays. Because you have clinical drugs already, but market validation is the most important thing. So after investing so much money, I don't know how much it is going to cost, but I think it is going to cost more than 1 crore at least, right? So big money for, I don't know, for me it's big money. So before investing that much amount, market validation, whether it will be accepted by market at your price point, positioning, everything you have to see. Because afterwards there is not any use. Then 1 crore asset is to you, it's your liability, whether you take from loan or from your own money or friends and family or investors. So that is your money. So you have to most important is get to the market, get validation as early as possible. And once market validation is there, there is no, you will easily get resources. Seed funding from investors or bank loan, it will be easy. So I know of several innovators. Products are really good, innovation is good, but without market validation, there is impact is difficult, and funding is difficult. So I know people, pre-COVID, they have come with good idea, patented, they were thinking a file, incurred additional expenditure. That time our scheme was not there on US patent also, but still not in the market. More than 5-6 years have passed. So yeah, yes.
Thanks for this suggestion.
Yes.
So you can see on the screen the champions.gov.in. So it is also like my.msme.gov.in like website, so that each and every scheme is covered in this one. So you can go through this one, my champions.gov.in. So whatever update is there in the present MSME schemes or any updation or any regarding gazette or anything, you can be seen in this champions.gov.in. Same way as in my.msme.gov.in, that is also a one-stop solution website where you can access the all scheme guidelines also. So you can, if you have any query regarding any scheme or anything related to the guidelines, you can go through the guidelines and access it. And a query regarding this one, you can register a grievance, so that the grievance will be answered within the 48 hours.
Oh, I hope this is the concluding session, and I hope you have gained knowledge. You are taking away knowledge with you, and you have benefited from this today's session. And I hope all of you have signed attendance sheet, right? Feedback form.
Feedback forms.
So and also all of you have received the kit bag. Yes, I will give you. Yeah, okay. You can come to me and take it from me. So we have few left, very few. So we'll give you. We'll prefer the MSMEs cost than students. So if there is leftover, then we'll. So we had a limited, based on the budget availability we have to make. So we'll give you. And yeah, tea is there, so you can have tea, network, and we'll arrange for the kids, those who have not received. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to felicitate my colleague, because he has supported me in this program. Mr. Naveen Kumar, please come on to the
Sir. Sir, smile. ఇక్కడ రండి అన్న, ఇక్కడ రండి, ఇక్కడ రండి. Smile. 1 minute, sir.
So the copy is ready. So you can please be comfortable with the copy. And if anybody would like to have pictures, you can come on the stage with IP Yatra. Yeah, yeah. If you want pictures with IP Yatra, you can come and have free pictures, free photos. Yeah. Because it happens once in a year, IP Yatra. Yeah. Anywhere. Stage is all yours. Anywhere. That's okay. IP Yatra. Yeah. Already in the group. Yeah. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. Or you can have it face the podium. You can have it the podium. You can share your feedback actually. That's a good one. If you want your picture, share your feedback. How was the session? You can share your feedback. That's okay. Yeah. You can tell about your startup.
Hello everyone. Myself Shilpa.
You have to switch on the mic now. And that button is there.
Hello. Yes. Myself Shilpa Joshi. मेरा 2 months back मैंने आकृति MSME में रजिस्टर किया है. मेरा कंपनी का नाम आकृति है. And I'm the founder of the company. And मैं एक artist हूँ. I do all handmade things. Handmade paintings, cloth painting, everything. मेरे हाथ से बना के मेरे आपने स्टॉल देखा होगा शायद से. So मैं whole and soul, I am the founder and proprietor of the company. तो अभी स्टार्ट किया है. मेरा फर्स्ट MSME आज ही पहला दिन था. इसके पहले मैंने कोई अटेंड नहीं किया, बट बहुत ही अच्छा लगा मुझे आज आके. So my first and very good experience today. कल मैं नहीं आ पाई, मेरे फ्रेंड ने शायद मिस कर दिया, मुझे पता था. So बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था. थैंक यू सो मच.
You can share about your startup, or you can network with probably dozens of them in one go, or you can have your picture with IP Yatra. Each picture is only 1 lakh. Recording, you can start.
Good evening everyone, thank you Daniel who have visited my stall, and who have not visited, I want to give my messages hi, and that's what I have registered for Telangana government and tourism. So you can kindly approach me for any kind of travel related requirements of you. Thank you.
Talking about upcoming Sriram Navami, any offers?
Definitely, we have a lot of offers for pilgrimage as well as, so you can also approach us for even Kailash Manasarovar, because I am the BIC for Kailash Manasarovar, and Thailand, Philippines, that is trying to for this particular international sectors directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Yeah. You can.
अच्छा वो गली में
It'll be in the MSME group. Thumbs up, flash thumbs, victory. Thank you.
ये हमारा ग्रुप में अपलोड चलेगा ना ऑल पिक्स
Yesterday, Gulshan sent some sample pics, right? He'll send a link. Link will have everything.
Yeah.
Sir, shall I invite you?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, man.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amruta. I am into manufacture of the biodegradable sanitary pads, and my brand name is Sia. Estimate Good evening, everyone. Myself, Amruta. I am into manufacture of the biodegradable sanitary pads, and my brand name is STHRAYAH.in, Striya.in. So you can visit my website also, and you can order through my website also. And my contact number is 630-1375. Thank you.
Group, MSME group, MSME group. Okay, right. So, student, student. Audience student. Thank you so much. పాట పాడాలి ఓన్లీ